of what happens online.
So what do you do? Like here's a good, for instance, this situation with this young kid who had the Maga hat on and the Native American gentleman who was in front of him banging the drum. And then people are calling for this kid's name. They want his name, they want his address, including Kathy Griffin. Like, how do you handle something like that?
Well,
because that's essentially request for doxing.
Yeah, and that is a new vector that we haven't seen in mass. I mean, these are the cases that bring up entirely new things. So we have to study it. We have to see how we reacted, what happened with the network. But this goes back to the incentives. Like, we are incentivizing this very quick reaction, and it's taking away from some more of the considered work that we need to do to really diagnose what's happening in the moment. And it's such an interesting case study to see how that evolved over just 48 hours.
Yes,
and
that's one of the most fascinating news cycles or stories in the news cycle in quite a while, because it's nuanced. There's many different levels to it.
Yeah.
And a lot of really knee-jerk reactions.
Totally. But we helped that.
How'd you help it?
Well, it's just that's how some of the dynamics of the service work.
But is that how some of the dynamics of the service, or is it the way people choose to use the service? Like, if you are a thoughtful person, you wouldn't just for instance, the original image that was distributed came from an account that's now banned, right? Mm-hmm. And so it was discovered that account was a troll account. Mm-hmm. How does that happen, and what was the thought process behind that? Because the image that they posted was a legitimate image. It really did happen. It was a part of an actual occurring event. So why did you ban the person or the troll account that put it up?
I don't know about this particular case, but it's likely that it was found. There's a lot of what you see on the surface of Twitter and some of the actions that we take on the surface. But where we spend a lot of our enforcement is actually what's happening underneath. So in many cases, we have trolls or people like the case that you mentioned whose sole purpose is just to harass or abuse or spread particular information. And oftentimes these accounts might be connected, or they start one account, that gets banned, they start another account, but we can actually see this through a network lens, and we can actually see some of those behaviors. So that might have been one of the reasons. I'm not sure in that particular case, but
how do you know? Do you know because of IP addresses? Do you know because of a
variety of things? Like it could be trying to use the same phone number, same email address, IP addresses, device IDs, all these things that we can use to judge what's happening within the context. So we do have a lot of occurrences of suspending or temporarily suspending accounts because of activities across accounts, and that happens a ton. But what I mean in that we're helping this right now is like some of the incentives. Like just imagine seeing that unfold, and when you see someone with one take, it kind of emboldens something to follow along, and then this mob kind of rules.
Yeah.